Do you need some energy to get through the day without relying on coffee? I got just the thing for you. It's called Neuro, and I'm partnering up with them for today's video. Neuro has gum and mints to energize, calm, and focus when you need it. They were developed by former athletes who were training at the highest level and simply didn't want to take any mysterious supplements or energy drinks when studying, training, or even going out. Instead of something sugary and ineffective, they wanted to create clean and balanced energy that could be taken anytime and anywhere. Their energy and focus formula is specially formulated with natural caffeine, theanine, and B vitamins to sustain the mental endurance necessary to maintain your focus. Their calm and clarity formula is expertly developed with GABA, vitamin D3, and L-theanine to optimize composure and clarity of mind. Their health and vitality formula is specially infused with life-enhancing, immune-boosting vitamins to help strengthen and support your body. What makes Neuro different? Neuro's gone through dozens of formulations, process, and tests to ensure that each gum and mint they make delivers on their promise of getting you in the right state at the right time. Unlike other heat-extruded gum and mints, Neuro's products are created using cold compression technology, which maintains each ingredient's bioavailability. Neuro is a clean boost of energy without the jitters of coffee or an energy drink. With so many challenges and demands, it can be really hard to stay focused, and Neuro does a great job of keeping you calm, cool, and collected. Stress, fatigue, lack of focus can all impact decision-making abilities. Recently, I had been feeling sluggish and have been distracted with everything going on in my life. These Neuro mints, however, have allowed me to stay on task and have stayed calm, cool, collected, as well as alert, and I've been able to change my approach and focus on the task at hand. Go to my sponsor link now down below, tryneurogum.com/JKB to enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it. All right, that should be better. I mean, is it a live stream without BS technological issues? I mean, anyway, yeah, it's not a happy day if you wanted OBJ back on the Rams. I mean, let's just put it that way. So, yeah, we're here. We're live. How's everyone doing? It's been a minute. I've been working my tail off. And there's a lot going on, a lot of good stuff. So at some point or another, I'll be able to announce that. But just know your man over here is working his tail off. I'm not slacking on you guys. You know, I'm excited to eventually unveil what I've been doing. What's been up, you know. I've been doing a lot of draft stuff and other stuff. So I'll have it, you know, I probably will be able to, I would imagine I'll probably be able to announce it at some point this week, maybe next week, but good stuff coming. That's all I can say. So hope everyone is having a good Sunday. It is 11:17 on the East Coast. So that means it's probably 8:17 for the majority of you guys. But yeah, let's talk about this real quick about OBJ and why, man, this thing just, it sucks, but I'm happy for him personally. I'm a big fan of Odell, and I always really have been. I don't know. I just always liked the guy. And, you know, I feel with Odell, this is the best move for him. You could say what you will about a player valuing money more than winning, but you have to keep in mind, first off, he took a loss. The Rams contract kind of blew up in his face because he took it in Bitcoin. So that, you know, that has not come back and reshaped the value that it was when he first did that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, keep in mind, He's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in November. The lifespan of an NFL pro is not as long as you would think, right? So to assume that he's even going to play next year, to assume that everything will be good, you haven't been paying attention. So as we've seen, a guy who's coming off his second ACL tear missed an entire season to get $18 million, up to $18 million, is a win for him. I'm happy for him. Odell deserves it. He worked his tail off to get back, and if a team wants to pay that much for him, then he's worth it. I mean, that's how I'd look at it. This guy had a lot of interest all around the league, and not everybody wanted to pay him. And I think the problem with it, and I kept saying, is that with Odell, you're talking about kind of an unprecedented deal. A guy coming off 2 ACL injuries and, missing an entire season. It's like, where does he fit into our plans and everything? So that was a big thing that they had to kind of figure out early on. Like, if I'm offering Odell, what am I offering him? Is it a 1-year deal? Is it giving him long-term support? And so at the end of the day, he was going to meet with the New York Jets. The Rams were interested. The Rams weren't going to bid against themselves. I keep having this one piece of like hair on my lens, but yeah. So the Rams weren't going to bet against themselves. The Jets weren't either. Jets were pretty much kind of out of the running if he wanted $15 million. And before he took the meeting with the Jets, which honestly it looked like he was going to go there, the Ravens basically gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and so he took it. Not meeting with the Jets, he's signing with the Ravens. He's been, reportedly trying to team up with Lamar Jackson in some capacity. So maybe he comes back, but it's not a guarantee either that Lamar Jackson ends up being the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens in 2023. And those are the facts, right? So it's a little bit of a gamble for OBJ, but at the end of the day, the money makes it not a gamble. It's a gamble. If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, it's a gamble because you don't know who's going to be the quarterback. But I like this for Odell. The question, though, because I know my audience. I know you guys. You guys are wondering what the hell happens next with the Rams. Rams still have about $10, $11 million in cap space. They're going to go through this draft. They might sign some guys, but this is pretty much it for the Rams. I mean, at the end of the day, they could have gone out. They could have, spent a decent amount on a free agent and just called it a day, but they're not doing that. I think Odell was one of the only options that they really put themselves out there for, right? So now that Odell's off the board, maybe it changes things. Maybe they are interested in teaming up with another, reunion there with John Johnson or bringing back Troy Hill. But I don't think it's going to be a big time name like Odell Beckham Jr. And keep in mind when I say big time name, like John Johnson to you might be a huge name, right? But globally, Odell is like his own brand. So I don't think you're going to see anything like that. I think right now the Rams are going to focus on the draft. I don't see any moves happening, between now and the draft, any big moves, right? So that's something there. But shout out to Odell Beckham Jr. The Rams do not win that Super Bowl without him. You could say what you will. The Rams had to come back and everything, and they did. But that touchdown and the ability that he showed off to start the game and what he was able to do against that Bengals defense, if they don't lose him, first off, he's the Super Bowl MVP, and they trounce the Bengals, and he's probably signed to a long-term deal. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, but you can't take for granted what he meant to that team, what he meant to them in that game, in that moment, down the stretch. He had to fill in for an injured Robert Woods, and he did a damn good job of it. Really didn't have any time to get the ball rolling on knowing the offense. He just kind of got thrown in there. It wasn't easy, right? So, I think at the end of the day, I like this for Odell. I appreciate Odell. The Rams fans likely appreciate Odell. I think you guys really should, because he chose them. He chose them over the Packers. He won a Super Bowl with them. He wanted to come back. He explained he wanted to come back on a hometown discount, and that was before the injury. And, the ACL thing really sucks. It derailed a lot of what he wanted to do, But at the end of the day, this guy has to take care of himself because, say what you will, but, our retirements and whatnot are more likely going to be in the 60s, 70s in our life, maybe 50s if you're a little lucky, 40s if you're really lucky. But he's going to be retiring soon. It may not be, 2 years from now, but it could be 5 to 7. And if it's 5 to 7, that's it. That's all the money he's getting at that point. I mean, obviously endorsements and he can figure things out, but I don't have any issue with him trying to set himself up for the future. I have no issue in that whatsoever. So $18 million, good for him. I'm glad he didn't turn it down. It makes sense. But again, the injury it sucks. It really does. And it shows you, it really derailed everything. I mean, if Odell doesn't get hurt, I don't know if the Rams had the season they had last year because I think Von Miller would have returned. I think Von Miller would have wanted to play with Odell. Look at the bright side. At least now we don't have to hear about Von Miller recruiting Odell every 2 seconds going to the Bills and how he has to go to the Bills and everything because he had a dinner with the Bills. That was a real thing last year, and that didn't happen. So the Cowboys, they were the favorites at one point to get Odell. That didn't happen. So this concludes a long story, so to speak, of just constant uncertainty. The Rams were never out of it. They stayed in it the entire way. But at the end of the day, I just think that, the Rams weren't going to, the Rams and Jets weren't going to bet against themselves. And that was the big thing. So, again, it sucks. I'd like Odell back. If you're one of those optimists out there, Odell signed a 1-year deal, just like Baker Mayfield, just like Greg Gaines. If you're an optimist, you want those guys back. 1-year deal. I'm sure that if the Rams were this close to signing, well, not this close, but if the Rams were on signing Odell this time around, things might not change the next time. Maybe, they're very much interested when he becomes a free agent after the season. So I was surprised personally he didn't go to the Jets because I was hearing that sounded like a done deal, but they didn't want to, go above $15 million. And I think Odell would have taken it, if I'm being honest. And the Ravens they paid the money, man. The demand was there, and they wanted to make sure to get out in front of the competition. And they did it the only way they knew how. They might have paid some extra money, but if now they get Odell and it works out, it works out. Now they have him with Bateman. It's a pretty good duo right there, and who knows what they'll do in the draft. So, looking at the Rams, though, wide receiver's not the biggest issue. We can all agree on that. It's not the biggest issue. There are a lot of issues. The Rams have to field a roster right now. That is first and foremost. The Rams need to field a roster. So how do you do that? Well, you look at the quarterback. You got one quarterback on the roster. You're gonna have to, whether that be XFL, USFL, undrafted rookie free agency, drafting, signing a free agent. You're going to have to figure out who's going to be your backup quarterback and who's going to be maybe a developmental piece or whatever. Running backs are pretty good. They're going to add one in the draft, like they always do in all likelihood, probably in the middle to late rounds. And then running backs check that box. Okay. Wide receivers. Allen Robinson's the biggest question mark. No one knows what Allen Robinson is going to do. Is he coming back? Is he getting released? Is he getting traded? I don't know. But I'll tell you this right now. What I think is that the Rams are open to working with Allen Robinson if they have to. What they don't want to do is take on a bunch of dead cap, not really save anything, and be there sitting there like, man, Allen Robinson could have been something in our offense in year 2. We had a bad year last year. He didn't get a chance to really work with Stafford in the offseason because the injury was Stafford. So that was a big thing. And then the next thing you could argue is that, look, the offensive line was putrid. So, I mean, because of all the injuries and everything. So it's not like Stafford had a ton of time to get on the same page with Allen Robinson. By the time Allen Robinson was starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm mid-season, he gets hurt. So, there is a real feeling here where, yeah, if they had to go, a second year with him, I'm sure they can make it work. I'm sure there's stuff left in the tank. I don't think Allen Robinson's done. I mean, I don't. So that's something there. Tutu Atwell, where do you go with him? Where's his development at? Do you feel good about him being a starter next year if he had to be? Van Jefferson, where are you on him? If you're going all in on offense, if that's a real thing, where are you on him? Are you trying to go all in on the offense, score a lot of points, or is that just kind of a facade and you're down to trade Van Jefferson for the right price, around the NFL draft? I mean, I wouldn't rule that out, but the thing right now again is fielding a team. Ben Skoranek, okay, he's got a role, whether that's fullback or tight end or wide receiver, whatever. They can figure out how to use him. He's got a role. Cooper Kupp, we don't have to talk about Cooper Kupp. We know what Cooper Kupp is. So then you look and you're like, okay, maybe they could use some depth at wide receiver, because I don't think necessarily Lance McCutcheon is going to cut it. They need to add another guy. Who is that? I don't know. Probably in the draft, though, if we're being honest. And so that's why I think they go later rounds with a wide receiver. Tight end, you could argue they'll go tight end as early as their first pick. I mean, I'm not saying I would do it, but I could totally see them doing it. Hopkins and Higbee are both free agents after the season, so you could see that. There's also some good tight ends that they could grab in the middle rounds. Could see that as well. Then the offensive line, they're higher on the offensive line than we are. Okay, they let it. This is how I look at it. They let Chandler Brewer go for nothing. So clearly they like who's there a lot. They'll probably, or maybe they like guys in the draft, sure. But I think they're going to draft one or two guys. I don't think they're going crazy in the draft on offensive line personally. So I'm just saying right now, don't get your hopes up on that. I did not like that they got rid of Chandler Brewer. This is my first time talking about it, I think, on the channel. So apologies for that. I really like him. I mean, I thought the fact that they continued to develop him, undrafted, goes through the high risk COVID sit out season, comes back and was able to play and look pretty solid last year. I think it's a mistake to let a guy like that go for pennies, but that's what the Rams have been doing all off season. So it's been cap space over players, and I don't exactly love it. And I know there's some people that do, but cap space doesn't win you Super Bowls. Players do. So that's all I'll say about that. But the offensive line, I think they'll probably address at least 1 to 2 guys in the draft. Maybe they sign a veteran, who knows. Defensive line, I think they like their defensive linemen a lot. If they draft a defensive lineman, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think they're going to go all out. And that's why I kind of push back on the whole Kalijah Cansey thing. I push back on, the guys in the trenches like that, because I see people saying that. And I'm like, I just don't think that's where they're going. I think, they feel good about the defensive line. If they didn't, they would have brought back Greg Gaines for $3.5 million. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have just let him go for nothing. They clearly like their defensive line. Aaron Donald, Marquise Copeland, Laurel Murchison, I think, is a big reason too. When you're able to acquire a player like that mid-season, another team's trash is another team's treasure. And I think they found a player that they really liked in the draft. And, I think, at the end of the day, that's how it is, So, look, I think the defense line's good. Then you look at the linebackers. How are we going to look at the linebackers, inside linebackers? Right now, I think they could use another inside linebacker. Do they value the position? Because there's a bunch of UDFAs behind Ernest Jones. Could argue they'll just go UDFA again. You know what I mean? So in that case, maybe they don't value it that much. Edge is the biggest need. Personally, I think edge and corner are the biggest needs. Interior offensive lineman, you could argue, but edge 100%. Really like Michael Hoyt. Fan of Daniel Hardy. And I like Keir Thomas, but there needs to be more help here. There needed to be more help there last year, back when I liked the guys they had. I like Justin Hollins, really liked Leonard Floyd. Now Floyd's out, Justin Hollins is out, Terrell Lewis is out. You need to find some guys, and they need to double dip, in my opinion. They need to go 2 out of the first 4 picks need to be edge, in my opinion. Then you look at corner. I think they could find some good corners. I just started getting into the nitty gritty with corners. I finished scouting on Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Emmanuel Forbes, Deontay Banks, DJ Turner, Joey Porter Jr., Cam Smith, Jacorian Bennett, Kaylee Ringo, and Clark Phillips III out of Utah. That's my ranking as of right now. That's my top 10. I've only watched 10. Well, I've watched 10 that I'm done scouting. I watched Julius Brents. I watched Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. Still waiting on finalizing all that and getting more into it. But, I think at pick 36, Blaine and I have talked about this. I think the best case scenario for the Rams is if they get one of Will McDonald and Forbes, like, they're golden. I think either one of those guys at pick 36, you're going to be in good shape. Forbes is fantastic. He really is. You want a guy that's a game breaker, all right? You want a guy that's going to, generate more turnovers, get the ball back to Matthew Stafford. Well, then I'll tell you right now, Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State is somebody that you need to pay attention to. A balanced guy that can help you in the run game. He had 14 interceptions in 3 years. He had the most pick sixes in FBS history. So you're talking about a game-breaking player that you're going to be hearing a lot of. Now that I'm into the corners, you're going to be hearing a lot of it. I'm sure you'll hear it on, Believe in Rams. I'm sure you'll hear it when I do my cornerback rankings and all that, my tiers. I think Forbes right now, cornerback 3. I think he's being slept on because his frame, he's 6 feet. Or I don't even know if he's 6 feet, but he's 180 and he's skinny. But I don't care. I don't care about the frame. Don't have him playing bump and run and you're good. And guess what? The Rams don't play bump and run. So I don't have to worry about that. I think he fits perfectly into what the Rams are trying to do. DJ Turner's another guy to keep an eye on. A true man-to-man cornerback, but I think he would work in zone. I really think he would work in zone. Another guy's Jacorian Bennett out of Maryland. The other Maryland guy is going to go in the first round in Deontay Banks, but Jacorian Bennett is kind of a middle of the draft corner that I like for the Rams. So there are some corners that I like. I got to tell you, a lot of you guys were telling me about Ringo, and I see the upside as far as how he's built, the type of prospect he is. He's an elite athlete. He looks like a linebacker on the outside, manning the cornerback position. But Ringo did not do it for me the way I expected. I thought this guy was going to be like a first-round talent. I didn't really see that. I saw a guy that's built, looks awesome. He built Ford tough, whatever you want to call him. But I thought he was a little passive. He's not as hard of a hitter as I expected. I don't know. There was something, his movement skills, he's an elite athlete. He's got great speed, but the change of direction isn't there. So I don't know about Ringo in the second round. I think there will be better corners available. But I'm still getting to it. You like Riley Moss. Witherspoon, to me, is the best corner in the draft. He won't be available for the Rams, but he is absolutely the draft's best corner. He's got it all. He reminds me of a combination of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. He's got the cover skills of Darius Slay, a little bit of that fire of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, but he hits like Jalen Ramsey. He tackles like Jalen Ramsey. That is one thing that I love. So, I think at the end of the day, if you're looking for the best cornerback in the draft and, it's not, you don't care regardless of the Rams or not, you want to know who the best cornerback is, who should go first off the board. Well, I'll tell you right now, Devin Witherspoon is my number 1 player in the draft, regardless of position. So, I'll be watching Riley Moss at some point, Kevin. Still, I got to catch up on a lot of prospects, a lot of tape watch to do. Spent about 15 hours yesterday watching film. So I'm catching up because, I'm also making those, 1 minute scouting reports as well. I'll start a little bit earlier, I think, next year so I can get through a lot of them. But yeah, it's a lot of work. A lot of work. I expected to like Julius Brents more too. The crazy 6'3" corner that just is an outstanding athlete. I think he's a little too passive. I don't. He gets beat more than I would expect. So You know, that's what I'll say about that. Cash Money, appreciate you. Appreciate you signing up to be a gold member. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's my next goal. I want to be able to make those memberships worth it. I've been really nonstop grinding, so I think after the draft, I'm gonna get some time to reach out to those people that sign up for the memberships and see if we can't do some members only live streams or something. I think it would be great. I mean, I gotta catch up. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel, though. Really do. Jake the Snake, are you going to do a mock draft for the Rams? I am. I need to wait until I really feel comfortable about all the positions before I do a mock draft. I can't just say, yeah, I only watched edge prospects, running backs, quarterbacks, edge, and corner, and say, yeah, I can make a mock draft. It's not fair to you guys. You guys deserve the best. So my mock draft won't happen until I have a good broad picture of the rest of the draft. And now when I say like I haven't watched, I know who the guys are. I'm talking about diving in, really breaking it down. Until I do that, I won't be doing a mock draft. So I'll have a mock draft for you guys probably in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. It'll be probably the week before the NFL draft. I think that, we'll do like one Rams. And then I think during the draft, I'm going to try to get Alexis to do it, but I think we're going to do a shadow draft where when the Rams are on the clock, I'm going to say who I'm going to pick, and we'll just keep track of who we would have picked in that spot. And that's, I've missed out on doing that a few times. Hope to see you guys there, by the way. We're going to go live all 3 days, I mean, what do you expect? If you've been following the channel, then you know what we do for the NFL draft. We go live all 3 days, so I'm looking forward to that. If I had a dream pick for the Rams this year outside of a quarterback, honestly, if I could pick anybody right now for the Rams, I'm going to pick Devin Witherspoon. Anybody, dream pick. Devin Witherspoon is the best corner, and I feel like if you were to replace Jalen Ramsey with Witherspoon, and since this is, hypothetical, he's a first-round talent, so let's say he falls and the Rams trade up to get him. If they got him, they'd have 5 years of Devin Witherspoon. Sign me up for that, because I think he is an absolute star. I think, out of Illinois, I don't think he's starting to get talked about quite a bit, but I mean, Christian Gonzalez has been by far the guy, and Joey Porter Jr. have been the guys that everybody talks about, but I think Witherspoon's the best the draft has at the cornerback position. And I really like Christian Gonzalez. I wanted to like him more. I think he moves very similarly to Jalen Ramsey, but he doesn't tackle the way Devin Witherspoon does. He doesn't have that physicality, and he's not great in the run game. But the former Colorado transfer, he did a nice job at Oregon, so he deserves credit. Kaylee's very stiff. That's my issue exactly. Just the change of direction, movement skills. It's not quite where you'd like it. Someone mentioned Clark Phillips III. So I like his film. I think he is strictly a nickel corner at the next level. I had him 10 out of 10. He didn't test extremely well. I don't worry about the height, the overall size. That's one thing you'll learn about me is that if you don't know me already, when I'm evaluating talent, size does not matter. It really does not. That's why Kyler Murray was my number one quarterback, the year he came out. That's why Bryce Young is the number one quarterback the year this year he's coming out. I don't put too much stock into size. It could be cool, but I don't use it against others. Like Deuce Vaughn, Keaton Mitchell, 2 running backs that you need to know. Those guys are smaller, 5'7", 5'5", whatever. I'm not taking anything away from them because they're shorter. And maybe that's bias of me because I'm short. I'm 5'8", but I don't know. I think it's stupid. I mean, look, the last time, well, it wasn't the last time, but I seem to remember a certain guy by the name of Aaron Donald who fell ridiculously because he was too short. Like to 13th overall. I don't know how you pass on Donald even back in the college days. Like I don't know how that even happened, but that's what happens when you focus too much on one metric. If you're focusing too much on size, you're going to be disappointed. You know, you're going to miss out on guys, and that's just the facts. So I think they can win 7 to 10 games this year because the NFC is terrible. So I think they'll make the playoffs in all likelihood. Maybe the 7th seed, but I think as of right now, I feel good about them making the playoffs. I just think the NFC is horrible. I really do. Samuel, I mean, I hope some of them are. If you're not drafting some rookies that can start right away, I don't know. 9-8 or 10-7 for the Rams. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. I don't know who Jay Ward is. Let me be very clear. Nothing the Rams do will surprise me. I may have a surprise like reaction, like I'm pissed, but I won't be surprised. Like if they do something that I don't want them to do, like I'll totally expect that. I'll expect them to do something I want. Like I literally will not be shocked no matter what the Rams do. Nothing will shock me. I've seen it all. I feel that way anyway. Yeah, next up, for those of you who are interested, my cornerbacks that I'm watching, I got Julius Brents. I'm finishing his scouting report. Travius Hodges Tomlinson, he's the nephew of LaDainian Tomlinson. Caillou Blue Kelly from Stanford. Garrett Williams from Syracuse. Tyreek Stevenson from Miami. I got Alex Austin from Oregon State. Terrell Smith from Minnesota. Regzon Wright. I think that's how you say his name. From Oregon State. Catrell Clark from Louisville. Daryl Luter Jr. from South Alabama. Jalen Jones from Texas A&M. Cameron Brown from Ohio State. Mekhi Blackman from USC. Darius Rush from South Carolina. Eli Ricks from Alabama. Tywon Mullen from Indiana. Riley Moss from Iowa. Anthony Johnson from Virginia. Lance Boykin, Coastal Carolina. Corey Trice, Purdue. Mekhi Garner, LSU. DeJordan Strong, Coastal Carolina. And then I got Carrington Valentine from Kentucky. I got Jeremy Lucien, who we interviewed from Vanderbilt. I got Khalif Hilasi from Western Kentucky. And I got Nick Jones from Ball State, who all three of those guys at the end we interviewed. So, yeah, that's my list. And then after that, I'm probably going to look at offensive line. We're just going to do all the offensive line, offensive tackle, guard, and center. And then we'll start getting closer and closer to finishing this thing and have a mock draft. Overrated NFL team from AFC and NFC. Without looking at the rosters, let's see. Overrated NFC team, I think it's the Cowboys. I saw today someone had posted the Cowboys are the favorite to win the NFC. No, they're not. So the Cowboys are overrated. And then in the AFC, that's tough. The reason it's tough is because, like, is anybody overrating the Browns, or do we all just kind of assume they're going to be bad again? Like, who's overrating the Browns? Who's overrating the Titans, Colts, Jaguars? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Titans. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. What's up, Hilltop? Thank you, Romelia. Appreciate you. Cash money, I am going to eventually watch the interior defensive lineman. That might be the last one I watch, though. That or safety. Buffalo is overrated to a degree, but I still think they're very... I don't even know if I would say that. I mean, the Chargers are a little overrated. I'm going to stick with the Titans. I don't know. That's tough, though. That's not like an obvious... It's true. It did. Man. We're already yawning. 35 minutes in. I think it'll be a shorter stream tonight. I just wanted to go live and just say hi to you guys and talk. I mean, the OBJ thing was an excuse for me to go live. It's been a minute, and my life is going to be... I don't know what the words are, but to my liking? Is that fair to say? I mean, I think it is. Underrated teams? Good question. I mean, NFC underrated. This is tough. I mean, are the Lions underrated? If the Lions are underrated, I go with the Lions. If the AFC, I would probably say the Bengals, because I think with everybody talking about the Jets, and albeit I like the Jets, right? I cover the Jets, you know, for now anyway. But I don't know. It feels like the Bengals went from, well, that's funny because that's my Super Bowl, Lions Bengals. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I mean, this Hilltop says the Saints. I don't think that's an awful take. Miles Murphy. I think Miles Murphy's going to fall too. I don't know why, but I have a feeling he's going to. Like, they're not, that's the thing. The Lions, I don't know if they're underrated because I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to what people are saying about the Lions. I just know I have them in the Super Bowl. So the Bengals have become a little bit underrated, though. I feel, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if anybody's underrated in the AFC then. If it's not the Bengals, then I don't know. Maybe the Bills by default. They've dominated the AFC East, and now this year it's like people are acting like they're going to finish third behind the Jets and Dolphins. As of right now, yes, I do believe that the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl. Man, I wish the Rams were picking at 6. They'd be able to get Devin Witherspoon. I don't want DeAndre Hopkins. I gotta say, it says a lot to me that late in his career he got caught cheating. It's not to say that he was a cheater his whole career. It says more that maybe he feels like his play's going down and he has to do that to kind of stay on top. That's not a guy I want. I'd rather give reps to Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek. I don't want, and I don't want the cost that's gonna, I don't want to pay that. Let someone else get Hopkins. I don't know. I don't think he's realistic. If the Cardinals cut him, maybe things change, but I'm not trading with the Cardinals. I'm not giving the Cardinals assets to get him. I don't think he's in need. That's the problem. I would absolutely take a 4th for Allen Robinson. Yep, I would. I would do it. Would be nice to have a 4th round pick. They instead gave that away for Sony Michel, which I know some of you get mad at me, but you got to understand the value of picks. That's a horrible trade. Like, Bill Belichick was literally going to cut Sony Michel. Everyone knew it. And he didn't just get a 6th rounder, he got a future 4th rounder out of it. Fleeced. And then the argument is, well, they'd never be in the Super Bowl without Sony Michel. I don't necessarily agree with that, but he was important down the stretch. It's just, it's okay to admit that the player mattered, but what they gave up is questionable. Like, I mean, that was just not a good trade, period. Not a good trade. I like Tank Dell. I don't think Tank Dell makes sense with Atwell on the roster. Atwell and Tank Dell do the same things. Yeah, I mean, my friend Michael said it best. You know, it's like when Les Snead makes a trade, he's the guy who's rich at the bar who tips more than he has to just because he can. It's like a flex. Like he looks at picks as like he tips. That's why all these trades end up being like an attached 6th rounder or 4th. Like he does that a lot. There's a lot of instances where he's done that, and I don't know. I think the Sony Michel trade, I mean, looking back, I'm sure Les Snead is sitting there like, I wish we didn't give up that 4th for Sony. Because think about what they'd be able to do with that 4th rounder, you know? The players that they potentially miss because the 4th round, that sweet spot, you don't pick in. I don't know. Way too high of a pick to give up to. Like, oh my God, a 4th rounder? Jeez. Free agency. I mean, the problem is I don't think they're going to go the free agent route until way late, if they even do. That's the big issue, you know? So. The problem with Julius Brents that I watched is that despite the fact he's got a great size and speed combination, he's passive. He gets beat a lot. He's not as physical as I expected. I don't know. I mean, I haven't finished my evaluations of him, but I watched 2 games, and that's what I've come away with is that, you know, I think the idea of having a 6'3", 6'4" cornerback that can run in the 4.4s, 4.3s or whatever is great. It's a great idea, but if I'm watching him not able to play with physicality and feeling out of position, I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you right now, Emmanuel Forbes, that's the guy. That might be Witherspoon's my favorite cornerback in the draft, but after Witherspoon, Forbes is definitely, I might even say Forbes is my favorite. Witherspoon is just the best. He's so fun to watch. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think Jordan Addison makes it to the Rams 36th pick. I hope not. I like Addison, but you know, I do not want to see them draft an offensive player like that with all the weaknesses they have on the defense. I do not want to see them go offensive player at 36. Now, let me be very clear. If they draft Jahmyr Gibbs, it's going to be bittersweet for me. I'm not going to instantly hate the pick because Jahmyr Gibbs is my favorite running back in the draft. You know, if they get Cody Mauch, who we interviewed, I'm good with that. I think the offensive skill position player is going to be a little bit of a bittersweet moment. I will absolutely hate it if they actually, I don't know. Okay. If Will Levis falls and they decide to trade up, or if they take him at 36, I hate that pick. That does not make you a better football team. I don't even know if it makes you a better football team down the road. I would hate that pick. But everything else, I mean, there are probably instances where I would dislike it, but I think I can understand. Nolan Smith, the problem with him is that I don't think he's going to fall. You know, that's what I've been saying in my videos. Like, I love Nolan Smith, but I don't think it's realistic. like what you're dealing with there. And let's be honest, the reason why a guy like Will McDonald is even in play to potentially fall to 36 is because he was played out of position his career. If he wasn't played in the 3 and the 4 techniques, if he wasn't played in the trenches and was, lined up wide, I said it on Believe in Rams, he would have been a first rounder, no doubt about it. Would have probably been top 15. Just think about that. 239 pounder, and they haven't taken on double teams. That's just not smart. So that's why I think he's falling. With wide receivers, though, I got to be honest with you guys. I see you guys mentioning wide receivers. I don't see them taking a receiver until day 3, and I haven't really watched any aside from JSN out of Ohio State. So aside from that, I really couldn't tell you much about. Obviously, I know who some of them are. Like, I watched Quentin Johnston in the Big 12. I watched, Jordan Addison because I like USC, but that's that. I think Gibbs could fall in the second round. Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll go in the first 3 picks, I think. I don't really expect him to be there for the Rams anyway. I think he'll fall. He might be in play. I'll keep him on my Rams board, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted before the Rams pick. Mekhi Blackman I have not watched yet, so I couldn't really tell you. I watched an occasional, not occasional. I watched him at USC. It's different. When you're evaluating somebody, you've focused everything. You've isolated them as the player that you are focusing on. It's different than just watching them. Well, Jordan, I gotta make my big board. I'm still working on it. I've scouted over 80 players so far, so I just gotta continue to work on it, and then I'll release it. I'll share it with everybody, maybe go live or do something along those lines. But yeah. I think we'll see. I wouldn't rule out anything with the Rams, so we'll see. What's up, Kareem? It's funny, I was just about to back out. Oh man, I'm tired. I am tired, man. Oh, Lord. Give it a month or so when you have that dead period, right? There'll be more content on here. There'll be all sorts of stuff. More content, football-wise. Be sure to subscribe to the Downtown Rams channel on YouTube. We've decided to go full force in the YouTube ways, the video content creation. That's been our mission. So be sure to check that out. We're over 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get monetized and continue to grow. So we're getting there, right? But we're not there yet, right? So, and be sure to subscribe to this channel as well. We're almost at 18,000 subscribers. Also want to thank you guys today. Just found out that, earlier today I have hit 6 million views on this channel. We started in November of 2020. So the fact that we've hit 6 million views and it's 2023 and it's not even November. So in under 3 years, we've hit over 6 million views. That's insane to me. And that is that's your doing. Okay. I can put out the content, but if nobody was watching it, I wouldn't have 6 million views. I wouldn't have almost 18,000 subscribers. I have a pretty niche channel in the sense that I do a lot, but I also focus so much on one team that it is harder to kind of grow. But I have grown, and that's because of you guys. That's because of word of mouth. That's because of posting. I've seen all sorts of stuff, and so I just wanted to thank you guys because it's been incredible, and there's so much more on the way. I'll tell you guys at a later date, but I'm very excited about my future. That's all I can really say right now. I don't want to, jump the gun and announce anything yet, but just know that your boy is pretty happy right now. Okay. We're in good spirits. It's been a little tough. I've had all sorts of companies turning me down. I don't have a associate's or a bachelor's degree, so I always look at that as one of the reasons. I was actually told straight up going into my third interview, or after my third interview for this sales position, like, inside sales or remote sales. That's probably the way to put it. But remote sales position. I always wanted to go into sales because I was like, I don't know. I talk to people all the time, right? Like, I feel like I have a vibrant personality and, like somewhat likable, and I could sell people on stuff. I sell you guys on prospects. I mean, come on, right? I have sales. So I went through that whole thing, and make a long story short, had 3 interviews, get to the final interview. After that, I get an email that I'm not, qualified or whatever. It's something about the fact that I don't have a degree. So I just thought that was funny, because why did you go through 3 interviews with me and then decide, yeah, actually you don't have a degree, so it's not going to work out? Thought that would probably be something that you addressed before you interviewed me the first time. So I've had a lot of those instances, and it's been a little tough. And, I've been doing this full time, and it may not have been by choice. I mean, initially maybe it was, but, obviously I have goals, and, you got to make money in this industry. Otherwise you got to get out of it, and you got to focus on another thing. And, this turns into a hobby, and that's just never going to be me. So what I decided to do, instead of, taking maybe a part-time job that I could have done and I would have hated and would have taken time away from this channel and, all of that, I focused all my energy into trying to stick to my, the industry that I want to be in, and just focus on my goals and my dreams and whatnot. And so, I'm very excited about the future. I got you guys. I think some of you thought that I was going to slip the news, but we're going to hold off on it. But you'll thank me later. It'll be fun. I don't know. I might announce it on a live stream, or I might just tweet it, but either way, if you guys aren't on Twitter, then you'll find out via live stream at some point. Big things are coming. I'm not knocking on the door anymore. I'm breaking the damn thing down. For a while, I've thought about it, and it's like, what do I want to do? And yeah, we're breaking the whole damn thing down. We're ripping off the hinges. We're not even doing that. We're not even putting in that much work. We're just kicking the thing down, and I'm excited about it. So I don't have a date to announce it yet. I might have more information after tomorrow, but I think at the end of the day, I had a joke. I said, "Pray for my haters, because they're about to be punching air." It was just a joke, right? It wasn't me trying to like sob story or anything like that, or, oh my God, I have so many haters. I don't feel like I have that many. I do have a lot, though. A lot of them are Niners fans that, obviously they don't like me because I'm a Rams content creator. But anyway, haters don't matter, right? What matters is the people that support you. What matters is yourself. If you're not happy, and if you don't have people that support you, then yeah, okay, maybe you're going to focus on your haters anymore. But why would you focus on the haters when you have people that support you, like AKA all of you guys? Why would you focus on the haters when you're happy? If you have happiness and you have people that support you, people that are in your corner, people that make you feel alive and make you feel happy and wanted, then there's no need to focus on the haters. So just wanted to point out that was entirely just a joke. Also teasing an announcement, but a joke nonetheless. So I know that kind of rubs some people the wrong way. That was not my intent. Fernando, I apologize. I guess I missed your super chat. So thank you for the 2. I will never do that on purpose. So I guess I was just on a roll and I didn't see it, but I honestly think we're winning 7 games now. Yeah, I mean, I think 7 to 10 makes a lot of sense, within that range. So, we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, just, man, I can't even begin to describe how excited I am about the future. I mean, obviously things can happen. I'm aware of that. I understand things aren't perfect. I understand there's a reason why you have to have a backup plan, right? You have to have that backup account, that emergency money account in your bank account, whatever, emergency savings. I understand they're backup things. I understand life, there's going to be things that are thrown at you to test you and harden you in battle, so to speak. But as of right now, I feel like something is changing. Like the winds of change are here. All this hard work is finally really starting to pay off. And it has been. Maybe I'm spoiled in that regard, but since I don't have just a full-time job before, since I quit that, I don't have that full-time job anymore. I haven't had that since 2020. Or I think, 2021 I had it, I think. So, yeah, I mean, since I quit that job, my point is I don't have that other career. Like, this is it. So I've been going all in. So it's gonna sting more if you get fewer views on a video you put a lot of work into. It's gonna sting more if you get passed on for a huge opportunity. But it's also gonna be that much more worth it, when it all works out. So excited to announce it whenever I can. I want to be very clear. The people have not told me that I can't announce. I'm just choosing not to because I want to be smart in this decision. Make sure everything is figured out and how we want to do everything and approach everything before I announce it. So I'm not trying to tease you guys to be a jerk. I wanted to give you kind of a heads up that something big is happening, and I'm always open about my life, right? I mean, I've been told I wear my heart on my sleeve, and so, in only my fashion, being 100% unapologetically Jake Ellenbogen, I feel like it was only right to kind of tell you guys that. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it though. So I'll see you guys. No, I will not be announcing the 36th pick for the Rams on draft day, but that would be cool. I definitely wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. I guess today, because it's 12:10 on the East Coast. It's already Monday, but got some things to learn tomorrow or today, whatever you want to call it. If I can, I will. Okay, if I can, I will. If I can't announce it, if I feel like I can announce it, I'll announce it. So should hear about it soon. We got big things planned, this channel and beyond. So appreciate you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment if you haven't already. And I'm out. Till next time, guys, you take it easy. Later, folks. Do you need some energy to get through the day without relying on coffee? I got just the thing for you. It's called Neuro, and I'm partnering up with them for today's video. Neuro has gum and mints to energize, calm, and focus when you need it. They were developed by former athletes who were training at the highest level and simply didn't want to take any mysterious supplements or energy drinks when studying, training, or even going out. Instead of something sugary and ineffective, they wanted to create clean and balanced energy that could be taken anytime and anywhere. Their energy and focus formula is specially formulated with natural caffeine, theanine, and B vitamins to sustain the mental endurance necessary to maintain your focus. Their calm and clarity formula is expertly developed with GABA, vitamin D3, and L-theanine to optimize composure and clarity of mind. Their health and vitality formula is specially infused with life-enhancing, immune-boosting vitamins to help strengthen and support your body. What makes Neuro different? Neuro's gone through dozens of formulations, process, and tests to ensure that each gum and mint they make delivers on their promise of getting you in the right state at the right time. Unlike other heat-extruded gum and mints, Neuro's products are created using cold compression technology, which maintains each ingredient's bioavailability. Neuro is a clean boost of energy without the jitters of coffee or an energy drink. With so many challenges and demands, it can be really hard to stay focused, and Neuro does a great job of keeping you calm, cool, and collected. Stress, fatigue, lack of focus can all impact decision-making abilities. Recently, I had been feeling sluggish and have been distracted with everything going on in my life. These Neuro mints, however, have allowed me to stay on task and have stayed calm, cool, collected, as well as alert, and I've been able to change my approach and focus on the task at hand. Go to my sponsor link now down below, tryneurogum.com/JKB to enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.